Hello, yet again. It is now Friday the 22nd. We are into our fourth day of spring, but it's certainly wintry. It's been in the low 30s, might be mid 30s. It has climbed to the mid 30s. It's not as windy as yesterday, but it's still pretty cold. And then we're going to have a big storm for a day and a half or so. This is another housing video. This will be part C. It's clear that there's lots of reaction to what has transpired here, particularly with the land court judge's decision. I don't read a lot of the local media, and I'm certainly not on Nantucket Facebook, and I know that's where most of it is. I haven't looked at it, nor do I look at it. But there are little bits, and I've also overheard conversations, and I've had several. And I'm left at this point, I mean, this is 6 days later. We made our last one last Saturday. I'm a little bit perplexed at people's surprise or shock that this has occurred. And it's led me to a number of questions. And as I said Saturday, I'm not really here to proffer my opinions on these issues or sub-issues. Certainly not at this juncture. So I will reserve all of that. But I am definitely rather bemused and perplexed at why people are surprised by this. And I have a number of questions. This is nothing new, and this is the local version of this. And no, it's not ubiquitous. It's not happening in every community in America, but certainly in sexy resort communities it is. And if anybody goes outside of Nantucket with their consciousness for a moment, you will see that this is going on, if not all over the Cape, certainly in different communities. And I'll cite a couple, and you can go look at what's going on now. Try Chatham and Provincetown. Now, the Chatham situation is slightly different because it's not about Airbnbs, but it's about huge commercial real estate LLC that may or may not own a whole bunch of LLCs based in Colorado that is in quite a controversy in Chatham, if you go and look that up. Provincetown, they're having issues that are more similar to ours, where three entities have bought up. This is actually not Airbnbs, it's hotels and motels there. Most of their hotel rooms are owned by, I think it's 40% are owned by three entities. One of those entities owns 31%. It's a non-local LLC. It's not far away, but it could be a world away. It's Plymouth-based, and there's a lot going on in Provincetown. Those are two examples. I want to be brief, so I'm just giving two. Look around the Cape. If you expand from that, as I say, you're not going to find it in very rural areas or industrial areas, but you will find it in Tony resort places where there's very, very high real estate. These fights have been going on for years. It's just that those who are pushing back are way behind. And I will tell you, it has been recommended by the experts on the national level. I mean, there's hours and hours of material from NPR, not to mention other sources, where the real experts have said, don't try to deal with this nationally, it won't work. I mean, look at Congress, look at the paralysis we have. This is just another issue. And you're going to have trouble with the state, no matter what state. Even in the most sympathetic states, you're going to have trouble. The way to fight this is locally, and it is not a given that you will lose this. You actually have a fighting chance, and you're going to see this. And what I'm left with, I mean, here we are now. I don't know how this ever transpired, especially in the historic district of Nantucket. This is a national historic monument, this whole island. One of the main reasons people come here is for that. How is it that we can turn the downtown, in essence, into Swiss cheese. I mean, where one house is one of these Airbnbs, and in a cluster of the old houses with a lot of retirees, very, very quiet neighborhoods, and in some cases, areas are being cannibalized. It is not simply Swiss cheese. And I would say it's in a very different category than people buying huge houses in the middle of nowhere here and partitioning them, condoing them, Airbnb-ing them. That's a whole other issue, and I'm not saying that's fine. I'm not saying anything. I'm saying it's very different. It astounds me that this is happening in the core district of Nantucket. And this is beyond the issue of the conflict between the people. And I'll address that yet again. And incidentally, I've witnessed some of this, not living in one of these houses, but living downtown near some of these Airbnbs and witnessing what happens, how loud it is. The huge groups of people parading into town and coming back at 2 in the morning and disrupting the whole neighborhood. And they're going to Airbnbs, predominantly. There are no hotels. Some of them may be in houses, but it's often groups of corporate people, sometimes in their 20s, often in their 30s and 40s, huge groups. I hear the conversations. They are co-workers. Some of it is family get-togethers and weddings and stuff like that, but a great deal of it is not. Predominantly, it is not. It's not that phenomenon. They're very easy to distinguish. And we're going to stop there. I could go on and on and on today, but we're going to compromise. Instead of doing a 2-minute or 10-minute, we're going to stop right here. So happy weekend, and indeed to be continued as this saga continues and intensifies.